What's going on, people? It's your main man, Joe Fleetwood, the hustler, and welcome to the Joe Fleetwood podcast. Now, if you are new to the podcast, make sure you go check out joefleetwood.net where you can find all my social media links. Make sure you check them out, you like, follow, and subscribe to my YouTube page. That really would help me boost my channel and, all that other good stuff that's associated with social media. Make sure when you go to joefleetwood.net, also make sure you check out my merch shop. I got a lot of stuff in there that you could use. Back to school is getting ready to happen. I got t-shirts, I got hats. Make sure you go check out the Joe Fleetwood signature hat. Also, if you are a energy drinker, I have the Dubby Jitter Free Energy Drink on my page. Make sure you go check that out. You think it's something that you might like, you can use a promo code Joe Fleetwood, and that will get you 10% off the energy drink. So make sure you go check out joefleetwood.net and all of my social media links. That way you can follow me and stay up to date when new shows come out and anything else that I have going on. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and hop right into today's show. Now, today, I'm going to be talking about one of my personal favorite actors, especially when it comes to action movie, because I'm a huge action movie fan. One of the things that I do like about action movies is when the primary actor or the leading actor has martial art experience. When you have somebody that has that experience, it just gives a little bit more energy and realism to the actual moves that are being performed. Um, I think that's why I used to be so in love, and a lot of people within our culture, we love the old kung fu movies, right? I used to love the old Bruce Lee movies. I was a huge fan of, or am a huge fan of Michael Jai White. I love seeing his films. Uh, if you haven't seen Blood Bone, I think that's probably one of the best movies that showcases his talent, not only as an actor but as a martial artist. So make sure you check out Blood and Bone if you haven't seen it. Now, in the news, you may have seen who we're about to talk about today, none other than Wesley Snipes, because he is going to be making appearance on the Marvel silver screen again. Uh, and if you recall, back in the day, and we'll get into this, how the Blade series actually saved Marvel Universe itself. But he's going to be making an appearance in the Deadpool Wolverine movie, and I'm so excited and happy uh, that they brought Wesley Snipes back. I was looking at an article from USA Today where he himself said he didn't think it would happen, but when he got that call from Ryan Reynolds, that's when he knew it was about to go down. And Ryan was like, "Hey, are you in? If so, finna make this happen." And apparently he agreed. So can't wait to see it when it comes out. I look forward to seeing Wesley Snipes back on the silver screen. Now, and this might be telling my age, I don't care. I was a huge fan of Wesley Snipes early on. We're going to get into some of his early movies and the stuff that he did, and some of the stuff you may have not even known about Wesley Snipes, or you probably never even paid attention in some of these situations and said, "Oh, I didn't even know he was in this particular movie or in this TV series." Because as I did some research on him, I learned that he was in a few different TV shows. So we'll get right into that. But moving right along. So Wesley Snipes, born July 31st, 1962, in Orlando, Florida. Now, all the information as far as that I knew growing up without even doing any research, I thought he was from New York, which he actually did grow up in the Bronx, New York. But of course, he was born in Orlando, and while in New York, he attended high school of performing arts and then moved back to Florida before graduating. So, also his martial arts expertise. Now, this right here is really what set the stage for me. And then, like I said, it just adds that hint of realism when you know the actual actor has martial arts expertise. Some of the choreographic fighting scenes in the movies that he's done, such as Art of War, of course, Blade, outstanding. So, and we'll get into some of those also. But he holds a fifth Dan black belt in Shotokan karate, second Dan black belt in Hapkido, and then of course he trained in a bunch of various other areas of martial arts that I won't get into. But going into his film career, this, and like I said, he was also in a TV series. Now, if you from the South, I don't know about anywhere else in the US, but I know if you from the South, and depending on where you grew up from, your grandparents and your parents watched All My Children. And apparently he played a role in All My Children back in 1984. But this is where I actually had my first or the first time I actually saw Wesley Snipes in a movie. Now I was a huge football fan growing up. Started off playing Pop Warner football, played at a spot called Edgewood. And the actual first time I hit the football field was in 1986, which is when the movie Wildcats came out, starring Goldie Hawn. And Wesley Snipes was also a part of this movie. Now, throughout this entire movie, Wesley Snipes was hilarious, but he also showed his athleticism in this movie, and that also would kind of lead you to believe that, hey, if this guy continues down the path of acting, he's definitely going to be doing something where he showcases his talent, which he also did in a bunch of other movies later on down the line. So, without any further ado, I want to show you guys a clip. And to me, this was probably one of the funniest scenes in the entire movie, Wildcats. So, let's check it out.
We're 4 points behind. We can push right past these guys, right?
Fine, yeah, there.
You don't sound very convinced. Come on, don't you guys have any pride?
Yeah.
Don't you have any guts at all? All right, then, get out there and get tough. Focus will be nothing but a fireball when we get done with it.
Let's go eat some pussy. Smash twice.
So that was Wildcats. Like I said, man, that to me, that was probably like one of the most funniest scenes in that entire movie that I had the picture of watching. And then in 1986, man, I was a young kid. I probably didn't have any business watching that movie. But you know, hey, young, wild, and free, man. So that was Wesley Snipes with Goldie Hawn, Wildcats. Now, the next time I saw Wesley Snipes was probably in one of the most uncommon places that I would even think that I would see him. But if you are a fan of Michael Jackson, during the same time frame, during the same era, Wesley Snipes was actually in the Martin Scorsese directed video Bad with Michael Jackson. Now, I also have that clip here, and we're going to check that out. Now, the thing you have to understand about this particular video is that Michael Jackson was doing, actually, his videos were not like your typical videos. He was doing like short films for his videos. You know, if you've seen the Thriller video and the original Thriller video and the original Bad video, which I'm about to show you the intro of here shortly, you also see where they get that meme from of Michael Jackson and that look on his face, because it's also in this clip. But all of Michael Jackson videos during this time frame were kind of like short films. So let's go ahead and get into this. I'm going to cue this up real quick.
Yo, college. What's your major, man?
Just high school, ain't.
And what's your minor?
To carry the stuff. To start. And suck. Pain.
No, man, Joe college. Joe! Shut up! Yeah, of course, check it out, like, Taylor was poor, right? I mean, so like, no reading, but Mickey could have scored on it. What? I don't know.
The reason I took out the glass, man, is that when the paparazzi started snapping, I knew all the reflection of the flash to get into my photo.
Hey, so they could be lying. You ain't lying. I'm not lying. Everybody lie like that's lying. Click. Hey, Foots. Them rich boys up the Dustberry, man, they all wear gazelles.
They don't wear that.
Oh, what they wear? They wear turtle shell glasses?
That's tortoise shell.
Excuse me, brother. Because I think you're going to go warfare.
Chew up.
Got to me?
Got you. Like money. Like craft. You looking for somebody?
Downstairs. Still. Don't let freak out. Billy, come on, old girl.
So, like I said, he would just show up in areas that I didn't expect him to see him in, and I didn't expect him to see him in the Michael Jackson Bad video. So when I saw him, I knew exactly who he was. Now, of course, like I said, he was in All My Children. He even had a role. He made an appearance on Miami Vice, same year, 1986, as well. And then I just showed you the clip of him in the Michael Jackson video. Now, I will say this: it was I think in the movies that he did with Spike Lee was when you could actually see his acting range. Um, and for me, as I'm sitting here thinking, and I can remember the first time I seen him in all of these movies, and videos, and you know, during that time frame, in my mind, I'm just like, man, this guy's just a great actor, and he's one of my favorite actors. And every movie that he would show up in, I made sure that I went to go check it out. But Mo Better Blues, even though he wasn't the lead actor in that, he was a supporting actor to Denzel Washington. His whole character just, you wanted to know what Wesley Snipes' character was doing in the movie the entire time. And then, you know what I mean, he was just raw in the movie. I don't want to give too much of his character away, because if you haven't seen Mo Better Blues, man, it's a home run cast, man. Make sure you go check out Mo Better Blues. And then he was also in Jungle Fever. Now, I will say, in Jungle Fever, I was like, and then also you got to think about the times that we were in at the time he filmed Jungle Fever. There was a lot going on, man. I felt like it was a risky move. You know what I mean? Being, especially, and maybe there's just some paranoia that comes from being a black man in the South. But to have, that interracial, a movie based on interracial relationships, was a risk. It's a huge risk back then that Spike Lee took, and a even greater risk, I feel like, for Wesley Snipes, man. But it was one hell of a movie. I enjoyed it. Um, yeah, man. There's not too much I can say about that. Another thing, like I said, he showed off a lot of his athleticism in Major League, and he was in the first and second Major League, is Willie Mays Hayes. Now, let's see. To, here's, I think, after those movies is where, actually, I take that back. It's actually after New Jack City. Now, after New Jack City, I think this is where you can start to see his rise as an action actor, because after New Jack City, Passenger 57, Rising Sun, and Demolition Man, and U.S. Marshals. And all of those movies outside of New Jack City is where you actually see him start to showcase his talents as a martial artist. But of course, New Jack City is a cult classic, and that will probably the movie in which he is most widely known for. Let me take that back. In our culture, we will always remember Nino Brown. You know what I mean? In the urban culture, in the black culture, we will always know him as Nino Brown. There's no one that was suited better than Wesley Snipes play that role. I also got now in New Jack City, this the interaction between him, Dutter Man, and G Money was probably one of the most funniest scenes of the entire movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop a clip of them in New Jack City. And of course, the famous scene where G Money introduces CMB to the era.
It's yeah, that's so.
What's up, close man? I'm here, right here.
With the profits, have
I got was told is about it, but quite in good.
Like this shit, I look at it.
He has awesome.
Yeah.
Giant. Complete with the word.
That's not 15 years. If you like the IRS, we run it back. I'm like the IRS, fellas. That's it. That's it. I love it.
That's true. This is saying you listen to you and it's so
To the what all this stuff, damn it, play on. It's a sign of the dawn. I got to get in mind. All I live is a lamp of crime. They got my back against the wall. Everything is in the top.
Hey, man, you mean we was kids, man? When we played for Reverend Osmo at Bitty's Walk?
Yeah. Yeah, I was 11, you was 13. We was the baddest backcourt, and each one.
Wasn't making no money then, was it? Now that we are, you out here living your fucking Michael Jordan fantasy, shooting jumpers and whatnot. Business must be pretty good, huh?
Oh, we will be, brother. Beat this out.
Free base, so what?
Yo, man, you know the rules. And us brothers don't get lied. Shut the fuck up, man. They just tried to call you a non-talking bastard.
Money, you been making money out the side of the family yet?
Oh, come on, man. I just been doing a little experimentation type thing.
Oh, a little experimentation type thing, huh? Like what?
All right, at the clubs, right? Some of the fellas was getting ready to step away from the blackjack table at the bar, getting ready to buy like a 50 or $100 worth of sniff. I set them up in the back room with a hit of the bass, and yo, 15 minutes after leaving the club, they'd be back with 2 and 3 people with them.
So what?
Man, they didn't come back for the cocaine. They came back. Wait.
Well, you sounding like this shit is the wheel or something, like it's gonna change the world.
Look, I don't know about all that change the world shit, but what I do know is that they be going crazy over this, man. I'm telling you. And the bitches, oh, Lord, the bitches, yo, they do anything for this. Yo, I had my Jimmy Wax every day last week, understand? It's number times a day. No, fuck out of here. I told you what's up.
I know damn well ain't nobody suck your shriveled up dick.
Oh, we trying to diss me, right?
I'm telling the truth, bro. Sorry, that's all I'm doing. Several times today in my ass. All right. Let me think about this a little bit.
Yo, money. You think this space stop? You know the high power shit.
Brother, we gonna come off like the mom. You understand what I'm saying?
Got my back against the wall.
And my
So to me, that was one of the most hilarious parts of New Jack City. Of course, the entire movie was great. Like I said, New Jack City is always going to be a cult classic. I don't care what Wesley Snipes, what movie he does, he will always be known as Nino Brown to me, man. Shout out to Wesley Snipes and Nino Brown. Now, in any actor's career, you know, it gets to a point where I think, in my opinion, this is where Wesley Snipes was like pinnacle of action heroes in the Blade series. Um, during this time that Wesley Snipes was doing Blade, Marvel was actually suffering. They took a huge hit in the box office when it came to comic book movies. Very huge hit. And as a matter of fact, it almost bankrupted them. And the movie that actually almost took them under was Howard the Duck. Now, I enjoyed Howard the Duck, but it was just not the movie that you bet the bank on. And I don't know what Marvel was thinking at the time, but it really hurt them. So much so that Marvel was actually in the process of selling off some of its characters in order to keep from going bankrupt. Now, when the first Blade dropped in 1998, I think they paid Wesley Snipes $10 million for that show, for that movie, and it actually saved them. It was 45, I believe it was, that movie might have been 45 million to make, and it grossed worldwide 150 million. Blade 2 dropped in 2002. They upped the bag to additional 2 million. They paid him 12. And then for Blade, the third iteration of Blade, in 2004, they upped it another 2 million again, and I think they paid him 14. But the entire Blade trilogy made Marvel $415 million. Now, mind you, just before Blade dropped, they were selling off characters. They had to sell them off in order to keep from going under. So that tells you a lot about, Wesley Snipes, where he was as an actor, his marketability, and just his talent in general, that you could save an entire franchise from going under. And it, man, and I gotta tell you, I still don't think, I don't know what the back end of the contract was, even if he had a back end, but you gotta think, a company like Marvel getting ready to go under, and Wesley Snipes comes along, gives you, first of all, whoever decided to cast him in this, you made the right call. You made the right call by casting this guy, because I don't know of any other person that you could have casted in order to play Blade. Now I do know this, and I don't want to speak out of turn. There is another actor who is getting ready to play Blade. And I don't want to, Mahershala Ali. That is a good choice. I think he's a great actor. I don't know if he's going to be, he has his hands full. He has his hands full. Man. Great choice. I don't know of any other actor who could play this role. Like this, like if he doesn't get this right, like he will generally hurt Blade. Like that like he will hurt the Blade series. That that is scary, man. Like he has some pretty big shoes to fill. Pretty big shoes to fill. Wow. Okay. I think, like I said, I think it's a great choice. Um, I don't think I've seen him in a role where he had to be or play an action type of person. So I don't know. Um, but I'm so interested in seeing how he does it. Matter of fact, I'm definitely going to see it when it drops, and I'll probably do a reaction video to it. But I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm actually nervous for the guy. I'm actually nervous for the guy. Now, in that Blade series, also I follow Wesley Snipes on Instagram. Um I did see where he posted a quote, and I believe it was from Hollywood Reporter. I believe it was from the Hollywood Reporter. It was I think, for those of you who don't know, I think his name is Patton Oswalt, writer, director, comedian, who was in, I think he was in Blade 3, if I'm remembering correctly. But he had some choice words regarding Blade 3 itself. Um, let's see if I can actually find the quote. Yeah, he was in it. Like I said. And I do believe that it's a Hollywood Reporter. Like I said, um, it was a quote from the Hollywood Reporter, and basically he said that it was a tortured experience being a part of the Blade 3 production. And let me see if I can find the exact words, and I'll read it to you. Here we go. Let's just say I have tremendous respect for Wesley as an actor. He used to be my friend. We're not friends anymore. I'm friends with Patton, and I worked with Patton since, so I don't think anyone involved in the film had a good experience on that film. Certainly I didn't. I don't think anybody involved with that film is happy with the results. It was a very tortured production. Something I didn't. Okay, maybe that wasn't Patton who said it. It was Goyer, who wrote the script for the original Blade back in 1998. And I think there's some controversy around who actually said it, whether it was actually Patton or Goyer that actually said it, because it's kind of, if you go to Wesley Snipes' page and you look at the actual caption, it seems like there is some confusion on who actually said this, which is strange because it says I am friends with Patton and I worked with Patton since, so I don't think anyone involved in that film had a good experience. So, either way, man, it is safe to say that Wesley did his thing when it came to Blade, and he actually saved Marvel. Like I said, this man is an amazing actor. He has won numerous awards for his acting talents, man. And I just want to say, Wesley Snipes, I wish you all the best. Life, you still got a lot more to give to the world of acting. Um, and I would love to see you in movies. And I hope anyone who's a director, writer, producer out there has something for Wesley Snipes. Man, I loved him in the Dolomite movie with Eddie Murphy. Just a great talent all together. I don't want to leave without giving you guys some of the information as far as his awards, because when I saw the list, I was just like, man, and I didn't realize how many movies he was actually in. Dude's catalog is wow. So I'll just go through a few of them. White Men Can't Jump. Oh my God, how could I forget that one? How could I forget White Men Can't Jump? I was at the movie when that first dropped. I actually went to go see that movie a couple of times, and I'm not ashamed to say that the main reason I went to go see that movie a bunch of times was not for Wesley Snipes. As great as an actor as he is, and as good as the movie was, it was for Rosie Perez. Hey, compared to, what you can find in movies and social media now, you may go back and see the movie and be like, oh, that ain't nothing. But trust me, back then, Rosie Perez was as hot as they came. Everything about her in that movie was sexy. So I'm gonna go down the list. Wildcats, Streets of Gold, Critical Condition, Major League, King of New York. He was in King of New York. I actually watched that one too. Um, Mo Better Blues we talked about. New Jack City, Jungle Fever, The Water Dance, White Men Can't Jump, Passenger 57, Boiling Point, Rising Sun, Demolition Man, Sugar Hill, Romeo, Old Rome, Romello, Drop Zone, Tu Wong Fu, Money Train, Waiting to Exhale, The Fan, Murder at 1600, One Night Stand, U.S. Marshals, The Big Hit, Down in the Delta, of course, Blade, Play It to the Bone, The Art of War, which I mentioned, which a lot of the fight scenes in Art of War were just amazing. That was like one of my top-notch films as far as action movies. I actually bought that on DVD because I just enjoyed those fight scenes. And then the movie itself, it's just a badass movie. Liberty Stand Still, Zigzag, Undisputed, where he was a boxer. Ving Rhames was in that one. That was a pretty good one. Let's see, Unstoppable, Blade Trinity. We already talked about that. 7 Seconds, The Marksman, Chaos, and the list goes on, man. Brooklyn's Finest was a great one. Dolomite Is My Name. You know, I talked about that one. Coming to America too. Forgot that he was in that one. Back on the Strip. TV series that he was in. I mentioned Miami Vice and All My Children. Vietnam War Story. A Man Called Hawk. Days and Nights of Molly Dodd. And the list goes on. Man, the man has a pretty big resume, man. He did some stuff on Broadway. So, once again, Wesley Snipes, it is great to see you back on the big screen in Deadpool and Wolverine, man, and I look forward to seeing this new Blade movie. And I just hope, that Mahershala Ali does not tarnish the Blade that I know and love, and many other people know and love. So, hey, man, you got some pretty big shoes to fill, fella. All right, so once again, man, I want to thank you guys for joining the Joe Fleetwood podcast. Make sure you go to joefleetwood.net, click all of my links, and I'll say it again, go check out the merch shop. I got hats, shirts, hoodies, the whole nine. I even got some other merchandise in there that you can pick up. Once again, if you're an energy drink type of person, W Jitter Free Energy Drink, make sure you go check it out. I got a link on the website. Use Joe Fleetwood and get your 10% off your first order. Thank you guys for joining us, and see you next week. Peace.